This is a question from engineering mathematics regarding matrix multiplication. So in the question, this question is very long, please go through it and understand. What they are explaining in the initial part is that they are explaining the concept called explicitly computed pair, which they are defining as in a given matrix multiplication chain. Let us say if this is the chain, then which all are multiplied initially in the first chain, like that is two matrices multiplying directly in the chain is called explicitly computed pair. That is, in this G1, G2, G3, G4, G5, G6 multiplication, only 2, 3 and 4 and 5, 6 are computed initially as the matrix in the original form. So these are the explicitly computed pair. So the question is saying that considering a matrix multiplication chain F1 to 5 with these matrices and these dimensions, in the parenthesization of F1, F2, F3, F4, F5 that minimizes the total number of scalar multiplications, the explicitly computed pairs is or are. So we want to parenthesize this matrix multiplication so that we will be minimizing the scalar multiplications. The operations for scalar multiplication is given here initially. If we are taking a matrix G1 of P by Q and G2 of dimension Q by R, then multiplying G1 by G2 takes PQ as scalar multiplication. The definition is given here. So they are asking in the matrix chain multiplication that minimizes the scalar multiplications, which are the explicitly computed pairs. So there are two ways to doing this question. One is that we need to go through this matrix. We need to find out which is the parenthesization that will minimize the scalar multiplication, and from there we can look at options and get the answer directly. Or we can look at the options given here. There are only 4 options, and then we'll try out all 4 cases, and then whichever is minimum we can choose that. So I'll be going by that approach here. So these are the 5 matrices F1 to F5. Let us go through option A. Option A states that F1, F2 and F3, F4 are the only explicitly computed pairs. We'll write that. So F1 and F2 will give us the explicitly computed pair. F3 and F4 also will give it directly. And then we need to multiply F5. So there are 2 ways in which we can assign the brackets such that F1, F2 and F3, F4 are the only explicitly computed pair, which I have given here. We can either give F1, F2, F3, F4 and then multiply these two and then multiply F5 at the end. Or we can do F1, F2, F3, F4 and then multiply F3, F4 with F5, and then this total we multiply with F1, F2. We'll see the number of operations in each of these cases. F1, F2 will be taking 2 by 25 by 3 scalar multiplications, which I have written here. F3, F4 will take 3 by 16 by 1 scalar multiplication. This total matrix will be having a dimension of 2 by 3 by 1. And then multiplying these two, we will be getting 2 by 3 by 1 scalar multiplications. Again multiplying it with F5, we will be getting 2 by 1 by 1000 scalar multiplications. So the total, we will see that it is taking 2204 scalar multiplications in this case. We will look at this case. F3, F4 will be taking 3 by 16 by 1. F4 multiplied with F5 will be taking 3 by 1 by 1000. So clearly we can see that again we will have to multiply F5 at the end. Here itself it is taking 6000 scalar multiplication, which is way greater than 2204, and this 1000 part is coming twice also, so it's much greater than this, so we don't need to consider this one. So for option A, this is the lowest part we got. Now we'll look at option B. They are saying F2 and F3 only. Now F2, F3 only, there are 3 ways actually in which we can assign this. So we'll assign F2, F3 initially, and then one way is that we'll multiply F1 with this. After that we'll multiply F4 with this. After that we'll multiply F5 with this. Again, if I'm taking this scalar multiplication here, this part will take 25 by 3 by 16. This itself is greater than 1000. Again at the end, the final part, I will get 1000 by 1 by 2 here at the final part. This is anyway greater than the minimum we have got already. So this is also not correct. We'll look at the other ways, keeping F2, F3 only. we'll see that using F2, F3 only, we can give it like this, then we'll multiply it with F4. After that, there are two ways of selecting this. We can either select this one like this, or we can select this one like this. In either case, F5 multiplying it will add a 1000 part to this. So whatever I do here, F3 itself is taking 25 into 3 by 16 multiplications. That's already greater than 1000. And here F5 multiplication I will be having to do it twice. In whichever parenthesization I select, there are two options here. Whichever I select, this F5 multiplication I have to do it twice. So anyway, that will be way greater than 2204 always. So we don't even need to multiply and check. So these two options are also not right. So B is anyway not answer. Not the answer. We have a better one, A.